Hi there, I'm the Commander-in-Chief, and today I'm excited to announce that Berit Volume 3 is officially done. This is the cover photo for Berit Volume 3, and today I've sent out the songs as digital downloads to all of those people who have pre-ordered Berit Volume 3 and Berit Volume 4, because I'm releasing 2 albums right before Christmas this year, which I'm really excited about. So Berit Volume 3 is now done, and it is now possible to hear all the songs and to get all the songs, and Berit Volume 4 is almost done. I've experienced some delays because the neighbor has been tearing down his house and he is also building a brand new house. So we basically live right next door to a construction site, which means that we have an awful lot of noise happening. This means that we have been working on the albums and recording in the middle of the night where everything is nice and quiet. So today I want to talk a little bit about Berit Volume 3, and I'm going to walk you through the different songs on this album and talk a little bit about each one. So the Berit series are 4 acoustic albums that I have written that are all deeply personal, and it's very different music than the heavy metal music and the classical virtuoso music that I'm known for. Now the third album, Berit Volume 3, is the most acoustic album of them all, and on this record I sort of envision myself as someone who's sitting by the campfire with my acoustic guitar. So the very first song on Berit Volume 3 is called With Just the Stars as My Companions, and it is one of my favorite songs out of everything I have written on these 4 albums, because it's about going out into the wilderness and sleeping under open sky. So now you're going to hear a little bit of With Just the Stars as My Companions, and then I'll get back to you and talk more about the songs when you have listened to that sneak peek.
And I don't know if I wanna speak to anyone, I don't know, I just want to hide. Oh, can't you see how nice with just the stars as my companions, sleeping under open sky, sleeping under...
So now I want to talk about Mad Jack Churchill, because he actually inspired the second song on my album Berit Volume 3. Now Mad Jack Churchill was the last person to kill someone with a bow and an arrow in battle, and he did that during World War II. So I got inspired to kind of go down the track of, you know, the old sort of Viking troubadours who would write songs about warriors and essentially warlords and their exploits. So I wanted to create sort of almost like a saga song featuring Mad Jack Churchill, where I talk about and sing about the things that he actually did. And it's really fascinating. It's an interesting story, and I'm wondering why no one has made a movie about him, because it is definitely something you would picture that Hollywood would be interested in.
That you'll hear our bagpipes. Oh, can you hear? Oh, the overture of death. See the man who is swinging his sword at the front, fighting next to his men. Well, he shot down the Nazi with arrow and bow from a tower in Lepine. Oh.
So Cecil Rhodes has received a lot of buzz the last few years because student activists have been very hell-bent on removing statues of him from university campuses, and essentially people, they just want to memory hole him and erase him from their history books. Now I don't believe that that is a good way to go about things, because you need to actually know your history and you need to learn about things from the past. So I don't really think you gain anything from just, you know, removing whatever you don't like. If we're going to remove every single conqueror that we find offensive from the history books, we're not going to have any history books left to read in, and we're not going to know anything at all. So I decided to write a song about Cecil Rhodes, since people are doing everything to destroy his image and remove him completely. It is not a tribute song per se, but it is an attempt to keep a little bit of history alive in an age, in an era where people have decided that anything that has to do with the Anglosphere and actually all of Europe's history and also America's history, that all of that should just be torched down. We're not going to gain anything on this type of behavior, which is precisely why I decided to write this song.
Let's paint it red, that's my dream, he said, British red. Paint it red with the railway from Cairo to the Cape. Paint it red. He folkig Globen Gula and he took his land. Called it for Rhodesia as he raised the flag.
We Hate Invaders So is a song about the very ending of World War II, when the Red Army came in and actually liberated Norway. They came in up from the north and did that. And my reason for writing a song about this is that I read an article in Norway where it was said that most Norwegians, they don't really know much about their history anymore. So a lot of Norwegians are very ignorant when it comes to what really happened during World War II, because nobody is really teaching them these type of things. So inspired by that, I decided to then write a song that basically presents a little snapshot of Norwegian history to the people who will listen to this tune. My grandparents, they remembered what it was like to live in an occupied country, and they told me all sorts of stories about what it was like to grow up during the Nazi occupation. And so I decided, I mean, Norwegians are very stubborn people, and if you actually listen to the lyrics of We Hate Invaders So, it has to deal with the sort of the opposition that people face, that the Nazis in particular faced when they tried to actually get Norwegians to actually do what they wanted them to do, and then, you know, they weren't particularly successful. So it is, you know, the disagreeableness and this sort of hatred that people absolutely get when someone is coming into their country and trying to tell them what they ought to be doing, and especially if you have a military occupation with people telling you what you ought to be doing. So that is what the song is about. It is a tribute in many ways to the Norwegian fighting spirit and Norwegian stubbornness, which is a very good thing if you ever actually get invaded or you get occupied.
Oh, stubborn northern folks won't move an inch. We hate invaders so. We hate invaders so. Far up north, where the winters are dark and cold, all hands flames ate away the destroying all. Only 20 would go, so they had to be forced by law, threatened with them guns. But Norwegians were hiding in caves and in mines, refusing to pay and grounds.
So the next song is called Everybody Loves You When You're Dead, and the title is inspired by a book that I have right here, written by Neil Strauss, the book of the same name. So it is very true, everybody loves you when you're dead, and if you actually ever get the time to read Neil Strauss's book, then you will see how good the conclusion of his book actually is, and that's what kind of sparked inspiration to write this. You should appreciate people when they are here, when they are in your life, and tell people that you love them and you care about them while they're here, and not wait.
Everybody loves you when you're dead. Everybody loves you, everybody loves you, everybody loves you when you're dead. They don't seem to remember all the habits that drove them mad, and you left way too soon, 'cause you had so much love to offer now.
Om jeg aldri ser deg igjen was my very first song in Norwegian that I put out there on YouTube in 2015 actually, and back then I wrote it inspired by my grandfather. It is a song written from an expat's perspective, where you are living abroad and your relatives are getting old and they're dying, and you're now afraid that you are never going to actually see your relative again and hug them and tell you love them and care about them.
Men kjenner du igjen det sånn som gnager til i hjertet? Kjenner du igjen den ensomhet? Men kjenner du igjen det sånn som gnager til i sjel og marg? Det sånn som blør. Jeg håper virkelig vi treffes igjen.
Lost is a song I think that any artist and creative person can relate to, because you are pretty lost when you are a creative spirit. The song is obviously about myself and just this whole thing of finding yourself in situations where you aren't really sure, you know, what you have dug yourself into, and you're not really quite sure how you got yourself into this situation. It's basically just a song about being lost.
How do I get out of this? 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 How? So tell me right now. Tell me
song on Berit Volume 3 is called Liva, and it's another song in Norwegian. Liva means the life. And it is a song about just life in general, or the meaning of life. So I gave myself an assignment, which I do a lot of times as a songwriter, where I thought, okay, I'm going to try to write a really happy song. I don't really write happy music, so of course, you know, the melody was happy, but the lyrics then became, you know, a bit of a it became kind of a funny song where I am contemplating that, oh, today I woke up and I'm feeling really good and I'm actually really happy today. But that's strange because, you know, I tend to always worry about things, but I'm not really worrying, so why is that? And then it's almost like I'm looking for things to worry about. So the song then turns into that, and it kind of makes fun of the whole Nordic temperament and being a Norwegian and being a Scandinavian, that, you know, if everything is amazing, you can probably come up with something that's kind of terrible, so that, you know, you can take the amazing situation into something that's really dark.
Føles ganske rart ut dette her. Det nå alltid anspent jeg begynner ganske sikkert å bli syk. Kan jo hende noe ulmer og bli farlig med tid. Så nå begynner jeg å engste meg, siden jeg ikke bekymrer meg. Kanskje faller jeg sammen I dag. Kreperer, blodår I huet eksploderer. Denne melodien alt for munter for meg. Alt for munter, denne melodien alt for munter for meg.
If you pre-order my 2 albums, Berit Volume 3 and Berit Volume 4 today, then you will actually get the downloads from Berit Volume 3 straight away. So you're not going to be waiting for that, you're going to hear the music before anyone else, and you're going to get the digital downloads as you wait for the physical copies. This is something that we started doing last year, that people always get the digital copies while they wait to get the physical copy of the album. So Berit Volume 3 is done, Berit Volume 4 will soon be done, and once Berit Volume 4 is done, we will then place our order and we will finally get the physical CDs, and people can actually get their names in the CD booklet, which is a very popular thing that people really love to get. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. Now make sure that you go and listen to the music, and I hope that you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think about it, and you know what? Merry Christmas!